Hello, Sir David DeBard from Oklahoma City in Oklahoma. I'm just hiding down here because I have no teeth and I fit in real well, and I have a belt buckle that's a second form of ID. So I'm recording here from Oklahoma City. Now, let me tell, first of all, there's a couple of you that have said something about why don't we adopt Axel, who is the brother of Abigail and Allison. And it's not one reason. I told you before, this mother that had these children there were 3 children. Axel was one of them. Well, I took both of her girls, and I didn't think it would be fair to leave a mother whose only crime is being poor. She's not a bad mother, not a bad person, she's just poor. And I didn't think taking all of her children was the right thing to do. I'm not sure even today, I still think it's not the right thing to do. Now, the other problem, and it's realistic, is Axel's having problems with Grandpa. And, you know, I'm having problems with his sisters here. Grandpa's having problems with him in the Philippines. And I don't want to import his problems and commingle them with his sister Abigail's problems here. Those are the main reasons. And the other one is my wife is taking care of other people's children. That she is the aunt of these children, not the mother. By adoption, she's the mother. But the reason, and it's a good question, she wants to have a child so young and their biological parents totally out of their life that it's her child, and the child will see her as the mother. So maybe that answers some of your questions, and I appreciate those questions because they're good questions. They're good questions. They make me think. The other thing, I mentioned my bipolar brother that doesn't take any meds. He's a genius. He can sell you refrigerators and air conditioning units in Alaska. Randy, he is the con man of the world. He really is. I didn't know that he contacted so many of my viewers. I don't keep track of my viewers. I don't have subscriptions and whatever to other people's sites. I'm just very narcissistic. I just do my show, and what happens, what happens. Well, he goes down through my list, I guess, of comments and then tries to get people to buy his books and his music and his wares. Now, this is worse than a Kirby vacuum cleaner salesman or a Botanica. When I was young, the Encyclopedia Britannica used to come door to door like the Mormon missionaries and sell you 116 volumes of the encyclopedia there. So anyway, those of you that have been contacted, only a few of you have said something to me. Maybe he's contacted everybody. I don't know. And you know what? I don't give a shit. If you're dumb enough, buy his shit. How do you buy a book? I think he sells his book. He has the books out now. They're $4.95 a book. Now, it'll cost you $53 to have them shipped from the Philippines to the United States. This is not a businessman, and he's going to charge you shipping. And if you buy 2, you can have 2 for $108. So anyway, I don't know what his, I do know what his motivation is. He's poor as a church mouse, and he'll do anything for money. Reminds me of a couple of my ex-wives. He'll do anything for money. But anyway, you know, if you want to buy his shit, you want to donate. Now, here's the thing that pisses me off, and I told you this, and maybe I didn't make it as clear as I should have. If a man wants donations to any cause, I don't care what cause it is, if he profits from that, it's evil. It's evil. You don't push 10 hungry Filipino children up on the screen and say, oh, they're all hungry, please send them money. And then the money comes, where's the money go? Does it go in their mouths? Does it go really in the Filipino? Or does it have some administrative costs? Now, people will say to you all the time, well, we don't have any overhead. No, they don't have any head. It's not overhead. They will take people's money. I know human beings. Now, Randy is profiting from this Filipino fiasco that he's created. He's given Ponzi schemes a bad name in the Philippines. The family that allows him to have his house on their land is the family he is using for the donations that you're sending. It goes in a big circle. It pisses me off. Now, if he was living in a house that he bought himself, that he bought the land for and he built, and he was selling his beautiful music, or he was selling books, or his life stories, and you know, how many of you are going to pick up a book by Barney Fife about his life? I don't know. You're too young. You don't know who Barney Fife on the Andy Griffith Show was. But anyway, if you think his life is interesting, you can buy a $4.99 book. But when he puts a family up and says these are the people, the types of people that get the money, he's lying. They're the people that get all the money. And as long as they're getting that money, they let him live on that house on their land. Everybody's making out. Everybody's making out on other people's money. That pisses me off. Always has, always will. If you are truly asking for donations, you shouldn't benefit from those donations in any way. Then truly they're a donation. Truly you are a philanthropist. Truly you are a giving, loving, and kind person. But if a little bit comes your way, or an advantage of living on someone else's property comes your way, then I think it's evil. I think it's bullshit. So if he wants to contact my people on the comments here, he can do that. I don't know if any of you are stupid enough to do it. If you do, I don't care. I don't care if you want to send his ass money and have him laugh himself all the way to the bank with your money. That's your own business. But the only Filipino family that's benefiting from his donation begging is the family that he begs to be able to stay in his own house on their land in a squatter's camp. So he screwed the daylights out of their daughter and promised to take her to the Americas, but he can't do that. He threw his passport into the Filipino Ocean, and he is wanted on like 6 or 7 islands there in the Philippines. But there's 7,000, so he can keep moving, folks, for another 20 years. He'll be dead. He'll be dead, so he can keep moving. And he doesn't have a Filipino passport. He doesn't have permission to be there, and he's there against the law. Well, what he did is he changed his name, not to protect the innocent, to protect the guilty. His last name used to be my last name. He spelled it differently because he's bipolar. But now it's John Wilson, Randall Wilson, or John Randall Wilson. And whatever day he wakes up, it's a new alias. Well, again, when those things are out of necessity, a married woman changes back to her maiden name, or your name is Swakamukalaya, and you don't want that in school for your kids, you change your name. But for someone who has a perfectly good French, good name, to change it means he's wanted, and he's dodging, you know, Social Security, and he's dodging American tax system, and he's dodging. So anyway, if he contacts you, I don't care. You can write him back. You know, you may want to go marry him and live in the Philippines with him. I don't like that he had sex with so many underage girls, and I mean 16, 13, and whatever, and their sisters all in bed at the same time, because he's an American. He can get us out of this mess. Well, all he did was get them in a bigger mess. And the dads chased him with shotguns and machetes out of different islands. So anyway, he's a talented man. I can't say that I truly love him, because when I see these shenanigans in his later life, now when you're 40, you know, even 50, you're still a kid, you're still an idiot, and you still do stupid, strange things. But goddamn, once you get into your mid-60s, if you haven't learned enough about life to be honest and true and benevolent and trustworthy, there was no reason for you to live your life. There was no reason for you to be anywhere living a life, because you didn't learn. You didn't learn. If we all tell the truth, don't hurt other people, give when we have enough and extra to give, and we respect other people, cultures, languages, different people from different countries, the world is a better place. But when somebody escapes to the Philippines to sleep with every child under 15 and throws their passport away because the U.S. is not going to let him back in his country, and when at any moment he can be picked up by the Filipino authorities and your damn donation went to the Filipino police as a bribe to get out of jail, if that's how you want to hook up, my friends, hook up. Hook up and look up. And believe. You know, once a Mormon, sometimes it's always a Mormon. You know, he was a returned missionary, and he's the one that took the mission car to the drive-in with 2 or 3 girls and was making out with the girls in the mission car at the drive-in. He's the one, folks, that when you hear about strange things in America, it was John Wilson who was involved in those strange things. He had 7 kids in a 12 by 12 room. They were all his kids, and he had bunk beds that were stacked to the floor to the ceiling. And he thought that was a good father. One girl, and I guess all the rest were boys. And finally his wife and the kids said to him, you know, we're out of here. This ain't right. So anyway, I don't want to go into my brother's problems. I don't want to become part of my brother's problems. If my brother, Mr. Wilson, and believe me, it's Dennis the Menace's Mr. Wilson, contacts you, you can write him back any way that you want. You can look at his websites, which are beautiful. I mean, he's a very talented man on his websites. But, you know, you can't judge a book by its cover. Open the book, and you'll see a little man running in there with different names, fathers chasing him with machetes, girls that thought they were going to be an American wife, and the Philippines thinking that he had a driver's license, and, you know, he doesn't have a motorcycle anymore. He doesn't have anything because he can't obey the law. He is truly bipolar. And the Philippines is such a country that you can get away with being bipolar without being on meds. But he's trying to milk the American public because he thinks you're all stupid shits. And when he sees how many people hit my program, it makes him throw up. It makes him throw up in his mouth. He goes, why are they interested in listening to him? Well, one reason is I don't lie. The other reason is I don't lie. And the third reason is I don't lie. People don't want to deal with a charlatan. They don't want to deal with Ponzi's and schemes and men begging for money and then using the money for themselves. There's no, I put the receipts up in front of you guys. I put the receipts right up to the bank the money went to and whatever. That's why I got out of any money thing. I don't want to be anywhere near associated. My bank account has been closed. I think my PayPal fell over dead. I don't want your money. You're good people. Do something good with your money. I'm not the money man. I'm not the judge in Israel. Your money is going to a mall and 15 general authorities. It's not going. Less than 1% of all the money that the Mormon takes in goes for humanitarian. And you know what? I saw the Mormons changing the name. They're not saying humanitarian anymore. They're saying Mormon charities. See? They see that how Catholic, what is it, Catholic Charities? Yeah, Catholic Charities is really a charitable. I think the Catholic Church gives 30 to 50% to the charity part of their organization. So the Mormons want to kind of hang on that's Catholic Charities, we're Mormon charities. And it's night and day. 1% of $5 or $8 billion a year, and the Catholics putting in 30, 50% of billions that they take in a year. So once a Mormon, always a Mormon. Once a missionary, always a missionary. I am so proud that I didn't go on a Mormon mission. I didn't want to live with a single man in a small apartment for 2 years. And the only way I could get away from him was go poo-poo. And then everything else, he's right there. The Bard don't play that. Homie don't play that. So anyway, if you want to deal with John Wilson, deal with John Wilson. That doesn't hurt me in a bit. But I certainly want to make sure I separate myself. Is there blood between us? Only bad blood. I don't know. I think he was adopted myself. I really think, and my dead mother once told me, I think he's adopted too. So anyway, good luck to him in swindling the Filipino people, and now he's turned to the Americans. And if you find a floating passport in California there in the Pacific Ocean, it may be his. Thank you.